It's crunchy. What's going on, YouTube? I'm back with another arena video. This time, though, I'm going to be talking about how I took a deck from Platinum 4 all the way to Diamond 4. And the deck I'm going to be talking about today is my Abominable Snow deck. It is very fun. And yes, it does have some pretty good counters, and we'll go over that here in a little bit. I use this deck solely to get to that level of Diamond, and during that time, I noticed that the tracker was very, very good for that. So I will be going over that here in a little bit, but first I would like to start with what is in the deck. We have 3 copies of Ascendant Spirit. Ascendant Spirit is just a fantastic one drop for this deck. All of our non-basic lands are, let's see, I think we have under 8 total. 1, 2, 3, so 5, 7. Okay, no, we have, yeah, you can play it with 8, you can play it under 8, you can play it a little more than 8, but everything that is a basic land is a snow land, and so Ascendant Spirit sometimes in the late game will come out and immediately go to her final form, if you will. And how do we do that? Well, we have Nylea's Intervention to make sure we never have to worry about anything with flying too early in the game. We only play 2 of them, but you don't really need to see more because we have enough board wipes and enough board control in the deck to do it. Then we have Heliod's Intervention at 2. Heliod's Intervention is another very fun card that I think kind of fell by the wayside. I remember back in the day when Kaiser Soze, God, I haven't seen that guy in so long. I need to watch one of his videos. Or Sozin, I can't remember how he says his name, but he used Heliod's Intervention all the time to just kind of play lands and then gain an absolute ass load of life, and that life gain is what helped him play the game longer. So that's what I do with it. Destroying the artifacts and enchantments is beautiful for if they like. They'll like Banishing Light something we have, or they'll Siegfried something we have, and you know, Heliod's Intervention always comes in handy for that. But playing the 2 copies means that normally we use 1 for enchantment and artifact removal, if not both, or we use 1 for life gain, if not both. And the life gain is so great. When you have a Nyxbloom Ancient on the battlefield with Heliod's Intervention in your hand, you know you're going to be okay. If you could just make it to the next turn, if you could just keep that goddamn Nyxbloom Ancient on the field for 1 more turn, you're going to make it. Then we have Dryad of the Island Grove. What I really love about this card is it is enchantment destruction, and we do play Nyxbloom Ancient, so they will normally use their enchantment destruction on the Dryad early game. So we do play 4 copies of him for that. Then we also play 3 copies of Scute Swarm. Scute Swarm is just a really good mutate target, and we are using mutate in the deck. I didn't want to go full control. I really wanted to concentrate on the deck being able to always do something, so that's why I really like having Scute Swarm. And you'll be surprised how often with Scute Swarm there's a lot of really good creatures on the ground right now that don't have trample, and people aren't playing Garrick's Wake or Uprising, sorry, and so it's very nice. Then we have Migratory Greathorn. Migratory Greathorn is just still the best Scute Swarms card, but there's another thing he is very good at, and that is bearing a very good comp. Sorry, my cat is fucking staring at me weird. What do you want? Okay, he must see something I don't see behind me, because holy fuck. But Migratory Greathorn is amazing with Toski and Scute Swarm, because Toski then becomes a 3/4 with Indestructible that has to attack every turn, and hitting Toski with a Greathorn and a Pouncing Shoreshark is fantastic. Say Shoreshark by the seashell side 4 times, I guarantee you it will trip you up. Toski, Bearer of Secrets, is next, and Toski is just a fantastic card. Nobody really knows what to do about him in Platinum. There's some good enchantment removal for him, where you're just kind of like putting him under cards, putting him under Sigrid or Sigard. Any of these kind of cards are very good for dealing with Toski, but we play 4 copies of him, and so we don't mind losing one because he is a legendary creature, and we'll normally draw another one because we're pulling so many lands out of the deck with this deck. And being able to draw a card off of Toski, being able to mutate a Greathorn onto Toski so that it is no longer a Toski, then you can play 2 Toskis and draw 2 cards every time something deals combat damage. Anytime one creature does combat damage in that situation, you draw 2 cards, which is super good for green. That card is so good for green. We're playing 4 copies of Doomskar. This is probably my favorite card in all of Kaldheim, Caldium, and yeah, that's all I have to say about it. Pouncing Shoreshark is our next card. Pouncing Shoreshark is so good onto Toski, and it's also pretty good onto Scute Swarm. Having an army of 4/4s is not bad at all, but having a Toski that is a 4/3 tends to get through a lot. So you get to draw, you get to be able to, oh man, it's just very good. And oh, hold on, my cat. What do you want? Get out of here. After the Pouncing Shoreshark, we have the Kogla, the Ape Titan. We played 3 copies of Kogla. Now, listen, if you've seen any of my videos, and if you see any of the videos after this one that actually were recorded before this video, I don't like Kogla. I love King Kong, but I don't like Kogla. And the reason was I didn't like that you had to have a human on the battlefield to give him indestructible, and he was a 6 cost. This card is so fucking good in this deck. I don't even know what I was thinking, but playing with 4 copies of him was so good. Playing with 3 copies of him is still so good. This motherfucker will come out and blow some shit up. I just love it because he'll fight anything that has 7 toughness and take it down, and you don't mind losing him because he's a legendary creature. You can just grab another one later on in the deck. I mean, we take out so many lands. After Kogla, we play the Seagate Restoration. Seagate Restoration is so fantastic. I love this card. Oh my god. So we pull a bunch of lands out of the deck. We will normally have 7 mana with a Seagate Restoration in our hands, and we will be able to draw who knows how many cards in the control mashup one game. I don't know if I have the clip. I have a clip of a very good Seagate Restoration going off that will probably come up here in a little bit, but I had like 14 cards in my hand. We were both at 20 life. I played a Scute Swarm, I played a Greathorn, and then I Greathorned it again, and I had like a million. It was so good. No, I played 2 Scute Swords, that's right. All because Seagate Restoration, and that's where we get all our lands. That's where we're playing Dryad, is because dropping 2 lands when you have a Seagate Restoration goes off is so good. You don't care about having a hand size anymore, but you really do care about having the lands on the battlefield, because you just spent 7 mana to pull off a Seagate Restoration. You're gonna more than likely be wide open that turn, unless you use a Nyxbloom Ancient to pull off that Seagate Restoration. We have 4 copies of Nyxbloom Ancient in this deck, and it has been so long since I've had a deck with 4 copies of Nyxbloom Ancient. This card is so fucking good. I cannot stress enough. If they want to blow something up, if they want to get rid of something, it will always be the Nyxbloom Ancient. This card is the most amazing bait card. This card is the most amazing ramp card. This card is the late game card of this deck. This deck is trying to get Nyxbloom Ancient on the battlefield to pull off all the combos of the deck in one turn. That is how you will absolutely demolish people. It's going to take a little bit to get there, but once it happens, oh my god. After that, we have Ondu Inversion. It's just a land most of the time, pulling off 8 mana. By the time you have 8 mana, if you don't have a Nyxbloom Ancient, you can blow something up, I guess. But the amount of times I come back from a Ondu Inversion is pretty great. But the amount of times I play it as a land is far greater. So It's basically a land. It's also an oh shit button. Bant normally has an oh shit button, and so that's my oh shit button for this. The Doomskars don't count. The Doomskars are in the deck, so I can like play Heliod's Intervention and Ondu Inversion. That's not true at all. I put white in the deck so I can play Doomskar. You can build this deck entirely without white, and I might go into that in another video. But on to the non-basic lands. We're playing 2 Fabled Passages. Trust me, 4 Fabled Passages would be fantastic. Though I am very scared because of the other lands that I chose not to play. 3 Fabled Passage I think would be the best, because you do really want to be drawing snow lands as often as possible. And to do that, we play 3 Temples of Mystery, 2 Temples of Plenty, and 1 Temple of Enlightenment. What I would really like is to go down a Temple of Mystery and go up a Temple of Enlightenment, so I have 2 copies of each temple. I just don't have the rares to craft that, and the deck works fairly well without it, but I think that that would be the best way to do it, because we are playing instead a Barkchannel Pathway, which is just another Temple of Mystery. So that's like having 4 Temple of Mysteries, and I don't need that. I need another Temple of Enlightenment, and more than likely another forest, snow-covered forest, which, by the way, that is the card we were playing the most of in terms of lands. We were playing 5 copies of a snow-covered forest. Obviously, I choose the one with the owl. It's the best one. After that, we're playing 3 copies of Snow-Covered Islands. I like the shores crashing against the rocks, very Zendikar-esque. And then I like the Snow-Covered Plains, which we were playing 4 copies of, that has the little reindeer on it. I dig that a lot. So this is the deck. It's going off right now. I'll take these cards off of here. As you can see, I have no problem with mana. None. I have no actual problem with mana in this deck. And it comes to a point where on turn 4, if you don't have 5 mana on the battlefield, that's a slow game for you. Here we have a Toski on the battlefield, but to cast the Doomskar earlier, I needed to keep my Dryad alive. Now I don't need to worry about that. This guy is playing a reanimation deck. He's playing like a zombie-esque kind of like bring it back Golgari deck for elves, and what I didn't understand was why why he seemed to only be playing like low-cost elves. He didn't really, I understand if you're on a budget. Trust me, I build budget decks for a reason. It's not just because I like the idea of them. Some cards I just don't have. But if you're on a budget, it's only 1 more rare to make sure you see your War Master more often, and I have 1 more rare. If I was really set on building an elf deck again, I would buy a War Master, but some people are different. Everybody crafts decks different way. As you can see right here, I'm using the GG tracker, and this is just a great example of why I fell in love with Kogla. I can literally drop a Nyxbloom Ancient. Let me count my lands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I could drop a Nyxbloom Ancient if I drew another land and a Kogla all on the same turn, and that he would have conceded. He would have conceded. He's at 20 life, I'm at 9 life, and he can't do anything because I summoned this Kogla and I blap his goddamn angel. Fuck that angel, little ass bitch. And let me go over the actual stats of the deck right now. I'll have to take screenshots of this stuff, which I haven't done yet in real life, but while the deck is being shown off to you in the background, I'm going to go ahead and grab it. So I love this deck. This deck makes me so happy to play. It really brings home something, man. Like I'm stuttering over my words to try and explain the feeling that you get from this deck happening in front of you. And it's just one of those kind of janky decks that just it blows itself up to get off. I don't know, it's like a bad X. So here are the stats, and I'll have to remember to take screenshots of this. Against mono white aggro, we are, I believe mono white aggro is where we get the 4 out of 3. We only won 1 more game than we lost there, but mono white life gain, we won 3 out of 2. Oh, so mono white right now is just too low to the ground for our deck. Their Doomskars help, but it's not enough. If they get the right hand, there's not too much we're going to be able to do, and that's just kind of the case with mono white right now in general. After that, we have white black life gain, which we go 4 and 8 against. We are very weak to how early their flyers come out, and you know, just keep a hand with a Doomskar is the best way to do it. Make sure you have 2 planes and a Doomskar if you can. Go up more planes. If you only see white black life gain, go up more planes. That's all you need to do, and you'll more than likely be able to Doomskar yourself to a victory most of the time. Mono green, we go 8 and 4. They don't really stand a chance. Once we get Scute Swarm out, once we get blockers out, they really don't stand a chance. Gogari, reanimation, Gogari elves, Gogari anything. We are at a 7-7-2. We definitely do not have a problem. Hold on. We do not have a problem with Gogari in any way. White blue, which is, I can't remember what that's called. What's white blue? That's not Orzhov. I can't remember. White blue is what? What is white blue? White blue color combination. MTG. I don't need palettes. I'm not painting my fucking house. Okay, so white blue is Azuri. I don't know. We go 80% against, which is 4 and 1. Super easy. Their flyers are just too weak to Kogla. They're too weak to Nylea's intervention, and they don't really stand a chance when they start to have to start blocking. Azuri is not gonna really keep up with you. At 50%, we have Simic. Simic is probably our hardest counter outside of white black, which if we keep a Doomskar in hand, they're gonna lose, and we can play it. We hate seeing Simic. It's just one turn too fast. It's just one turn too quick, and it'll get us every time if they get that card down before we do. Like a lot of times you'll see Dryad pop and we'll be like, oh fuck. Then at Boros, we have a 30%. We went 1 and 2 against. Boros is super fast. Everybody knows right now Boros is probably the deck that's going to get hit the hardest with bans. Boros in the history of Magic has always been fairly weak. It's just very fast right now, and the cards that are making it very fast are pretty common in white and red, so Boros will probably fall off to the wayside. So our 1-2 rate here won't really matter. But at the end of the day, we do lose very hard to Boros. Like I said though, it's the same thing with Gogari. Really, you can just drop a couple of the mutate cards, play more white, play another Ondu Inversion, and make sure that you can Doomskar early enough, and you will take care of that problem. No question. Against blue-red flash, we are a 100% win rate at 3-0. Now we only faced them 3 times, but that's fairly good, and it's just because a lot of our shit has 4 toughness or higher. It kind of sucks for them. And Toski. Toski's a really good counter for blue red right now. Even Giants can't get rid of him, so it's perfect. Rakdos, we're at 67% with a 2-1 victory. Only 3 matches. I feel like Rakdos can really go off against us. I only played against people that had like 200 cards in the deck, so I don't think I'm a very good statistic for that. Selesnya, we pretty much dominate every time we see it. Selesnya does not like Doomskars. They really don't, and so we go 2-1 against Selesnya. Against, let's see, the 3-color one is Abzan, right? Abzan is yeah. Against Abzan, we are also 2-1 for the same reason that Selesnya can't really do too much to us. And we're at 33% against Trickery. We don't mind Trickery too much. Sometimes Arena will give you 2 Doomskars in hand. If you can just get the mana, if you can just Doomskar, which is a lot of this deck, if you can just Doomskar, nobody's really going to be able to keep up with you once you start going. And that's the whole problem with Trickery. That one game I won against Trickery out of the 3 that I played was I Doomscarred the absolute fuck out of him. He Trickeried, I Doomscarred his entire board, then he played Luca, and I Doomscarred his entire board again with a Toski Shark on the field, killed Luca, and then he conceded. So that was what happened there. I don't know if I have that video. Colorless, well, we lose to, they get off really quick, and if they're playing colorless with Trickery, Ugin comes out. Ugin really hurts us. It hurts us. Against Sultai here. Let me see, I saw it was down here. Against Sultai, we do lose. Sultai Snow is very good at stopping our early game. Now, the best way to stop that is to go a more Simic way and take the Doomskars out and go more fighty, and that'll really help you take care of Sultai. And Sultai is my favorite color, so losing to it is probably proof as to why I prefer it, because I probably wouldn't build a deck that's better than my own alma mater colors. I'm probably just programmed that way. Against Teamer, we go 0-1. A lot of the same reason as Sultai. They can just get all their shit out faster, and they can just they can just control the board before we can. We're relying on Doomskars and mana to control the board. We really like seeing a pop on a Seagate Restoration, and so Teamer doesn't give a fuck about that, and they're just gonna attack you. After that, we have 4-color, not black, and we have a 100% win rate against that. No real problems. The other decks that we see in the game are no issues there. We're normally around like a 33% from what I was watching on my videos to gather clips and stuff. So I'm just gonna sit back and kind of let this play for a second. While if you're listening to the music, this is actually my own music, but you can see the board right here is just, this is what we do. Like, this is the whole point. It's a mutate deck, it's a Doomskar deck, it's a Toski indestructible deck. I had to grab a calculator here because I didn't want to do the math. We didn't get a Seagate Restoration in this game, but we don't care. As you can see, it just doesn't matter. We have all the mana in the world. We're about to gain all the life in the world. What did I end up gaining here? 2 times, I think this is the one where 2 times 40. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh yeah. So the game is really fun with this deck, and I really love this deck, and I did get all the way from Platinum to Diamond with this deck. I highly recommend it. I don't know another deck that's really as fun as this, can really hold itself against long game decks like this. You know, some of the decks that go off too fast, they go off too fast and they can't recover. This deck is all about recovering, getting your feet reset underneath you is what this deck is all about. And so definitely hit it up, check it out. I'll put the deck list in the description, and yeah, thanks for watching.